Hi there, Leo. I hope you guys are doing really well. I want to go ahead and get into an oracle and tarot reading for you. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, comment if you wish, and if you're seeking a personal reading, all of my info is in the description box below. So, Leo, this week your oracle energy is the Fates. The Fates the Fates is about accepting what fate brings us, accepting, it's like radical acceptance. Sometimes we cannot change the way karma goes. Sometimes we cannot, we just have to accept what is. Also, too, in regard to other people, you can't change them. You can't make their behavior be a certain way. It's just looking at what is and just saying, okay, this is what is. So be mindful of how you try to control a situation. It's best to just allow the universe to do what it needs to do. With your family and community here, you have the Queen of Cups. This is a great energy. Oftentimes, this is going to be a Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio person. This is a very empathetic person, very loving, compassionate. They have your back. They want to be by your side and listen. They want to care for you and extend that warmth and compassion towards you. This could also be your energy towards a person. But here, the Queen of Cups is present. And oftentimes, she is going to be somebody that is very much about offering you a sense of calm, relief, kindness, very much an advocate here. Also, too, through community, this may be somebody who could even be like a therapist or a professional that your friends are connecting you with, especially in regard to any type of spiritual endeavors or learning. You may want to learn, like, I don't know, psychic ability, Reiki. You want to learn whatever path it might lead to. This is a good person to connect with in regard to that. With your health energy here, Leo, you have the Six of Pentacles. The Six of Pentacles is generally a very positive energy in health. This can also talk about situations where maybe you're getting balanced information, you're getting treated fairly by a doctor or a healthcare professional. Sometimes this can also talk about weighing up options in regard to what you need to do in regard to your health. So again, looking at what needs to be addressed here and, making accurate decisions or at least effective decisions in regard to what you want to move forward towards. Almost feels like we have to cut something out here, Leo. Maybe cutting something out that is affecting us in a very negative way. And that can be a challenge as well. So just be mindful, because it's right here next to the Ten of Wands, which is your next card in finances and career. But the way that this is coming out towards me in health, this may be something, Leo, where maybe you've been dealing with something for a long time, and it could be, trying to soothe our emotions or trying to ease our inner world, and maybe the way we've been doing it has been very difficult or challenging, and so now we need to find a way to do it in a balanced manner. I'm going to let that go here now. So in regard to your finances and career, the Ten of Wands can be a very interesting energy just because it can talk about climbing the corporate ladder. It can talk about having a lot on your plate, being exhausted all the time, not knowing how to balance your energy, and if we're talking about balancing our energy here, maybe your work is affecting your physical body or emotional body. The Ten of Wands here in finances and career, this can talk about just really it's a burden that we willingly carry, but it's like needing to replenish. This is too much on our plate. It's, this is kind of where we need to top off. We don't accept anymore, say thank you, but I have enough on my plate right now. I might even have to take extra time to finish what I need to do. It's being honest with that reality, and especially with bosses and higher ups, it's just like kind of knowing your limits and creating some boundaries so that we're not like being over, inundated with work. This can talk about job burnout, exhaustion, mental, physical, energetic exhaustion in a job. So just be careful with that, okay? In your relationship energies here, Leo, you have the Ten of Swords in reverse. It's rough energy here, just because this indicates that at one point it was upright. And so that can talk about betrayal. It can talk about a lot of difficult, like aggressive, angry conversations or fighting between you and a partner. Here, the worst is over. This can talk about things improving, but it can also talk about stepping away, walking away, especially if things have just gotten to a point where they're just exhausting to be around. Um, you know, Maybe we do need to seek out counsel with somebody that is kind and open and mindful of our feelings here. Again, we cannot change people's actions and behavior, but we can, you know, see things for what they are and do what is fair in regard to our best interests. So if you and a partner are having a lot of fighting, or if there's been bad blood or like some sort of betrayal energy that's happened, it's saying, do what you can to take care of yourself. And if you're at fault here, do what you can to help the situation either heal or move on. Okay? With the Ten of Swords in reverse for singles, if you're looking for love, this may be a little bit of a challenging energy to come out of. It's saying you may need to let go of certain pain that you've experienced in relationships from your past, because it's saying, as much as we can't change the behavior of people, what we can do is not apply the experiences or the negative associations to new people in our life. We don't want to apply that to new people here. So it's saying just be mindful on how you go about new connections here. Make sure, your guard isn't so up that you can't be present with a person, or you're quick to jump to accusatory, like, accusing them or thinking the worst, even when it's not that way. So just if you need some extra time to kind of like recalibrate your energy regarding new potential relationships being available to them or dating, take your time. This indicates there is success after a painful ending or some sort of painful treatment. But there's also an energy of needing to allow people to show themselves to you, rather than assuming the worst. Okay. What you don't see coming here, Leo, you have the Five of Pentacles. This is kind of a harsh energy as well. A lot of your reading is a little bit heavier, Leo. And with this Fates card, it's literally saying, we need to be very mindful of how we look at things and how we're not playing the blame game, how we can look at our own issues or problems that we may have caused in situations and just like, learn from the experience, learn from the lesson. It's not about hiding from it or denying it. It's just being real and saying, okay, I acted this way. Let me fix it, or let me not do it again in the future, And again, if people have been that way in your life, you have to like step away from it. You have to look at it with a grain of salt and say, all right, I can't control somebody's actions, but I sure as hell can control how much I put into something moving forward here. So with the Five of Pentacles, this can often talk a lot about situations where it's like, what am I receiving here? Like, this can indicate lack of, it's like a lack mindset. It's fear of not having. This can also talk about financial risk, financial detriment. I do want to say here with this Ten of Wands, this can talk about losing a job here too. Maybe there's, exhaustion and you just have to step away. It doesn't mean like, oh, they're going to fire you, but it's you looking at a situation being like, okay, this isn't changing, but it's also driving me crazy. It's too much and it's not offering me the life I want. So let me take charge of what I want. And yeah, maybe it will be a little bit bumpy. Maybe I have to start from ground zero, but at least I can make that decision rather than be subject to any more difficulty. Sometimes the tower isn't here, but I could see in this scenario where it's like we may want to enact a tower moment where if our job situation or relationship, whatever it is like out of whack and not changing, we have to change it. And when we make those types of changes, sometimes we kind of like, actively step into a bit of a setback, But that doesn't mean it's the end of the world. It just means we work our way up from there. So it's kind of like cleaning the slate. So that's what I have for you, Leo. I hope that this reading is helpful. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, comment if you wish. And if you're seeking a personal reading, my information is in the description box below. Take care, guys. Bye.